I've just read the most amazing thing in the world, and I found out something about myself that I never knew.
Please tell me you haven't been reading more Scientology literature.
Welcome to Multiple Nerdgasm with your hosts, Matt, Luke, and Dan. Multiple Nerdgasm, your guide to all things nerdy.
No. I just saw something in the spreadsheet, and I found out I have something in common with the Pope.
Why?
A Catholic wife? I don't know anything about Catholicism.
No, I don't think he can't marry. I think all the nuns are married to God.
Okay, so, right. That's one hell of a wedding night.
Because he represents God, are they married to him then? I don't know how it works.
He probably gets to have his way with them. I assume.
I assume that's why you want to become Pope.
I think it's just more so the money.
Does he get paid?
Oh, trust me, they've got money.
Yeah, but does he get to use the money? Well, I suppose he probably does. Does the Pope retire, or is he the Pope until he dies? I don't know about the Pope very much.
Well, no, the last one did retire because he got old.
Right, yeah, that's called dying, Luke.
They're all a bit old, though, right?
Yeah, I don't think you can have like a young 20-year-old as the next Pope.
Oh, I've seen a TV show about it. You can. It was Jude Law, and he was the Pope.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah.
He's no spring chicken anymore, though, isn't he?
Oh, you're right. Well, I guess he's young in comparison.
Because I think the current Pope's in his 70s or something.
I mean, that's a bit old, isn't it?
It's quite old.
But I found out he does like Scotch, evidently.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently so.
Yeah, so I got a shock over this. I didn't think they would drink.
I don't know that he's supposed to, and this may have been a joke, but he was handed a bottle of whiskey as thanks for doing the shoot that they were currently filming him for when he was handed the whiskey. And he, I guess as a joke, said, "This is the real holy water," when they handed him the whiskey.
And then took a deep sip of it.
But then apparently the Vatican media office was allowed to approve all the footage, so they handed the footage over, and when they got it back, that was missing, that little clip. So there's no evidence that this happened, just a little anecdote.
See, it's one of those things, because to me that sort of makes the Pope sort of seem more human. Like, you can have a bit of a joke and...
Yeah.
Is the Pope human, or is it
I was going to say,
like the Eucharist, where we're supposed to believe that he actually does embody...
I don't think they want us to think he's human. He's special.
Then why do they put him in that bulletproof glass?
So we can drive around and receive pizza from people.
And whiskey.
What?
The Pope... I mentioned this the other day in a meeting at work, and no one knew what the fuck I was talking about either. There's a video out there, and I don't remember where or why or how I saw this. The Pope was part of some kind of parade or something, and a guy ran up with a pizza and was like, "Mr. Pope, take the pizza. I made it for you." And the Pope was like, "Oh, I like the pizza. This is the real body of Christ." And then
I'm watching the video right now.
There you go. It exists.
Yep.
That's some good body of Christ.
Yeah.
All you got to do is Google Pope pizza.
As he said, take and eat of the pizza.
Did he eat it there in front of everyone?
No, I think he probably threw it in the trash. But
I'd love it if he just stopped the parade to just slowly eat that pizza.
That would be great. Hey, stop at the car.
And then someone threw a ball at him.
Are you allowed to do racist, like...
No, you're not allowed to do anything racist.
Well, I mean, I guess it's not Italian. It's Rome is a country, right? So
you're allowed to do voices, but
can we make fun of the Romans? Is
we're not
is the
making
Pope a
fun
Roman?
of them.
I am making fun of him, aren't I? A little bit.
We're not making fun of pizza, though. We love pizza.
Fucking love pizza. I had pizza last night.
Mind you, I did have at least one instance, and I'm sure I've talked about it on this podcast already, where a jokey Italian accent got me into trouble.
Just the one time.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do accents, except for Scottish.
But it was Scotch he was handed, so if the Pope had gone, aye, this is the real holy water, that would have been fine.
Yeah.
I wonder what he did with it. I mean, we can assume what he did with it, but... Well, the Vatican
added
said...
it to his wide collection of scotches he has.
Yeah. Well, I guess they just don't want him seen to be endorsing whiskey. Or maybe it was like, they don't want him seen to be endorsing a particular brand. Because that would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you're right.
Was like,
what if... Because if that was me, if I owned that distillery, my new slogan would be, the real holy water. Glenfiddich Scotch, the real holy water.
And I would just have that clip in the ad.
Yeah.
God says, drink this.
Pretty good endorsement.
Well, whiskey may be the real holy water, but getting booze around here was quite complicated the other day. Until I found out there are varying levels of compliance with the kind of social distancing laws. Yeah. And one liquor store, the fancy one, is being very compliant. You got to call and place your order, and then you got to go pick it up, and they'll bring it out to you. Curbside pickup is what it's being called here. I don't know if you guys call it that where you are.
I just go to the bottle shop.
Yeah, then I noticed that the liquor store near me, which I usually go to, is just open as normal. And I was like, well, I kind of wish I hadn't fucked around.
See, I'm starting to think, I think you're probably, your lockdown is a lot stricter than it is here, because I think America's been hit a lot worse. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, I think you've got the highest rate of deaths or something.
Here's the thing,
crazy.
though, Luke. You need to do your lockdown before it gets bad.
Yes.
Well, no,
that's how you stop it from getting bad.
No, that's the thing. We're already on our way down.
Yeah, I saw a chart that was like, Australia's headed back down again. I'm like, well, must be nice.
But you guys aren't on an official lockdown, right?
We are very much we do have social distancing in place, and a lot of places are shut down, a lot of work from home, but we're not as strict as Matt's experiencing. And probably you are experiencing as well.
Yeah, McDonald's is closed.
Oh, God. All right.
See, that's how serious it's gotten here.
Even for takeout?
Yeah.
Wow.
See, that's the thing, like fast foods, it's all, you're not allowed to dine in, it's all takeaway.
Yeah, same.
But everything like that is still open. Shops are still open, but they're sort of limiting how many people are allowed in at a time.
All shops?
Things like that. I can go into EB Games tomorrow.
Wow.
Oh, really?
See, for us, only supermarkets are open and pharmacies.
I think it's because we probably locked down a little bit earlier than you guys did, so we were able to sort of get on top of it a little bit faster. Because I think we went into lockdown 1 or 2 weeks before. Yeah,
that's true. Because I was like, oh, I wonder if we'll end up doing that. And then, well, it's not even lockdown here. It's like guilt trip lockdown.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like, stay at home, and if you don't stay at home, we're going to be very disappointed in you.
The big problem is I'm seeing is people do the right thing, and then it sort of gets to like a week later, and then everyone goes, I'm sure it'll be fine, and then they get stuck again.
Because you get
really cracking
bored.
down here. They're getting more and more strict. There's a campaign out right now to dob in your neighbour.
Oh, God. Yeah, they wanted to do... People were pushing for that here. And
we're not allowed to leave the house without a mask on.
We're not supposed to. I accidentally did yesterday.
It's $300 fine if you do.
Really?
Jeez.
For your first offence, and then it goes up.
We have nothing in place for masks.
Basically, it came out about 2 weeks ago that 50% of carriers show no symptoms. So essentially, you could not think you've got it, and therefore not think you need to wear a mask, and you could be spreading it around.
Our friend Erin sort of said the best thing, what they sort of had to do at their work, and the best way to try and get people to do the right thing. Don't be worried about getting it. Think that you have it, and you're not trying to give it to someone else.
Yeah, people misunderstand what the masks are for, I think.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
Because they're talking about, reopening the economy here, and there's some disagreement over.
What does that look like?
I think it looks like opening making the stores, allowing the stores to open again. And there's some debate about whether that's a good idea or not. But apparently, the only state that is prepared for that, because you've got to have testing and contact tracing and all that kind of stuff up to go. Apparently, Rhode Island's the only one that's actually ready to do that.
Awesome.
So. Yeah, that is neat.
We have that contact tracing thing, if you go into any store, and like I said, very few are even open, but you have to scan a QR code and log in that you're entering that store. Yeah. You're allowed to get your haircut still. That's deemed as essential. So I got a haircut over the weekend with a mask on.
Via Skype?
Yeah. But I had a mask on, he had a mask on, and at one point he's cutting the sides up above my ears, and he cut my mask off. And then we just looked at each other. He was like, sorry.
Did he give you a replacement mask?
No, he didn't. No. It was awkward. I didn't know what to do.
He said, you've led a good life. Maybe it's time.
Yeah.
And then he put a little mask on the clippers.
Put a little mask on his dick.
I was
like, what's that for? He's like, you'll find out. You'll find out. If you are getting bored during quarantine, unfortunately, I don't know how. Actually, I'm trying to think of a less jokey way to say this. Now, I think I should abort that because sadly, it seems cases of domestic violence are up because of people being locked in houses together. And Malaysia has put out a few public service announcements. Mm-hmm. If anybody's concerned about this kind of thing, they've come out and they've said, don't worry about it. Women, just stop nagging men and you'll be fine. No. That's their solution to domestic violence.
Can I come at it from a different angle? Don't hit people.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
there's a poster. Apparently there is a poster that shows a man sitting on a sofa and it says, women, stop being sarcastic if you need help with the household chores.
Ooh. I don't even know where to begin.
Yeah. So they've apologized and stopped, I guess, distributing the helpful paraphernalia.
Huh.
So
yeah, I mean, look, Malaysia is a Muslim majority country, but they're one of the most progressive Muslim countries. I'm surprised that this passed without somebody saying, should we think about this for 10 more seconds?
Anybody going, nah, let's not.
I like some of the other things that they've sort of come out with, where they're urging the women to continue to dress up nice and put on makeup.
Yes, just the women.
Yeah.
Don't worry. Yeah.
Yeah. They also have suggested that women start talking like Doraemon.
Doraemon?
Which is that blue cat that like an Asian teenagers go around with stuck on their bags.
I'm not sure I know what that is.
No.
I don't think we have that here.
No, you probably don't. Let me paste in a picture, or not a picture. Let me paste in the word.
I think they burned everything from Asia once this coronavirus thing started here in America. So
right, yeah. Asia's a big place.
Yeah, there's a lot of fires, Dan. A lot of fires.
Yeah, anything from Eastern Russia, they burned as well.
Yep, true.
Yeah.
Doraemon. I've never heard.
No, I'm even looking at pictures of him now, and I can't.
Oh, you don't know this
him.
guy? Oh, okay.
Oh, I do know that guy. But
he's
not.
Just
I think from Australia.
He's just a cute, high-pitched talking cat, and apparently there's posters in Malaysia right now that say "talk like this guy" instead of in your normal naggy voice. I guess it's like the equivalent of having like Miss Piggy. Oh, not Miss Piggy.
Miss Piggy. Fuck, don't
Miss
tell
Piggy.
them to do that.
Who am I thinking of? Minnie Mouse.
Ho ho! Oh, that's me.
Kermie!
What does Minnie Mouse sound like?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've heard Minnie.
Yeah. Never mind.
Okay. And Matt will insert a clip here.
Of Minnie Mouse nagging.
Mickey Mouse! You're late for our date!
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
1 minute.
Wow, you see, Minnie,
You'll meet me at the dance in 15 minutes or we're through!
Yeah.
Well, there is that episode of The Family Guy where there's a flashback to Disney drawing his first cartoon and making Minnie Mouse strip naked.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Probably for the best.
Yeah.
So we've got some Australian coronavirus-related news.
Okay.
A gentleman who, I think we may have discussed this back at the beginning of all this nonsense. An Australian guy who purchased $10,000 worth of toilet paper and hand sanitizer has attempted to return it now that whole shortage thing didn't pan out.
Yep.
And apparently the CEO of the supermarket in question gave it like a press conference and said, let me get the quote exactly. I had my first customer yesterday who said he wanted to get a refund on 150 packets of 32-pack toilet paper and 150 units of 1-litre hand sanitizer, and I told him that. And then he flipped the bird to the camera.
That's great.
So good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Can you get a refund at supermarkets under normal circumstances?
Normally with supermarkets in Australia, they are pretty lenient with returning stuff, as long as you've got a receipt.
Oh, they have never even thought of returning something to a grocery store.
A supermarket, so Australia in particular is pretty good with all that stuff. I think a lot of retailers are probably scared that they have to, even if they don't, so they just do.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of consumer protection laws. I think it's a little... Here, I think you can get a refund anywhere, just because it's America and, you know...
Live free or die.
I've people will buy clothes, wear them for a couple of days, and then return them.
What?
So it's just I know it's America. People do that. They buy prom dresses and things. I'm sure I've seen articles about that saying, "Can we all stop doing that?" And then kids are like,
well, they're expensive.
That's true.
As long as you don't get any grass stains on them.
So, what? All right, I'm leaving that right there.
Yeah, what did Luke do at prom?
I've got a question.
Played football, I guess.
Yeah, cricket.
Yeah.
Which one of you assholes got a stimulus check?
Not me.
Yeah, not me either.
I did. Everybody here did.
Really?
Fuck you.
Everybody who paid taxes here got one, yeah. And apparently, some people are putting it to questionable use.
Well, I was thinking during the week, I bet certain items have massively spiked during the quarantine, and I think sex toys must be among the highest.
I thought one of the things that spiked up was sexy lingerie.
Oh, okay.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Is that because they're like, look, I'm around the house all the time now, my husband is bored of seeing it, I need to dress this up somehow?
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I found it weird. I just think there's a high influx of people doing camming.
Oh, actually, you might be right.
Because I'm thinking of like strippers and stuff who now can't do that, so strip clubs are now trying to do it
online. It's a good point.
I think about things like this.
Oh. Yeah, go to voxel.com and see if the sluts from Parramatta are making any money.
Voxel.com?
I don't know if there's a .com, but Luke knows very well what the Voxel is.
Do you remember?
Certainly do.
Do you remember, Dan, the day we looked up the reviews for the Auburn Gentlemen's Club?
Oh, yes. She started screaming when I touched her hair.
That was... I have never been so sad.
Yeah, I know.
I thought it was going to be hilarious, and it just wasn't.
And listeners, this is not because we wanted to know what we were in for. We moved into a new neighborhood. We saw that there was a place called a gentleman's club, and we wondered, is that actually a club for gentlemen? Because that could be cool. Or is it a strip club?
Yeah, or a
brothel. It was neither of those.
It's a brothel.
Well, a brothel. Yeah.
And I thought, let's look at the reviews. That'll be funny. Reviews for a brothel must be funny, right? No, they're not.
Not at all.
They're disgusting.
Not at all.
And just depressing. And,
because most of them were negative.
Well, you don't... Yeah. And a negative review for a brothel is a fucking mind trip, I tell you.
Because if you had a good time and you're writing a positive review, you're gross. You're gross.
Yeah, I think gross. The people who wrote these reviews were gross.
But if you're writing a negative review, it means your experience was like next level gross.
And then, yeah.
But I think they were the ones making it gross, though.
Oh,
the whole situation is gross.
Yeah, and I just wish that I'd never read it, because now I think back on them and I'm like, it's so sad. Just ugh. Anyway.
But it's better to know, Matt, because there's probably times where, you've thought, oh, maybe I'll duck in, and you're like, no, that's right. That lady screams when you touch her hair.
Imagine we had, because we're fucking dumb, we were like, oh, let's pop in for a whiskey and a cigar at the Gentleman's Club.
Wearing our smoking jackets.
Yeah, and we rocked in there and then found what was described in those reviews.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I mean, how far would we have had to go before we found that out? I mean, it's not like we wanted a good scotch and so we went in and said, give me one that's 18 years old.
Oh, no. Well, I guess that's one way to spend your stimulus check. The other is apparently a inflatable dinosaur costume. I do like those.
They're great. They are great.
Not the intended usage of the money, I'll be honest.
Sure. It's stimulating to me that there are people dressed as dinosaurs, so...
Well, isn't it all about just blowing it on crap?
Is it? I think it's supposed to be so you can pay your fucking bills. Because people lost their jobs.
To spend.
Are you sure?
Because if you're spending at shops, it means that the flow-on effect. It's basically just get people spending and not...
I think he might be right.
I don't understand this. All right, fine.
If you start,
I thought it was just to help me buy. So I mean, I'm just,
mate. Blow it.
Still got mine.
What are you going to blow it on?
I don't know.
That's what it's
Matt,
for,
you've got 1 week to come back to us and tell us what ridiculous shit you bought with your stimulus check.
All right, fine.
Because it's all the flow-on effect. Like, they give you this money, you go spend it on crap, you buy meals or go shopping, spend it means that they can then afford to keep paying their employees, which then will keep them employed, which then means that they can spend, and it's just, it keeps going and going.
Right, so I shouldn't just be investing it.
Yeah, no. In fact, you're what's ruining America's economy. Yeah, thanks.
Because, here's something, even police working, they don't have to roster as many people working at night anymore. Because security guards...
That's a good point.
Because it's all of this extra stuff.
It is. It's the stuff you don't think of. We talked on the podcast a couple of weeks ago about how cinemas across America have closed down temporarily.
AMC might be going bankrupt.
Yeah, well, you know who has already gone bankrupt? The one company that makes seats for cinemas.
Oh, fuck.
They're gone. They have shut down.
Wow. So I guess we sit on the floor if this ever reopens. Oh, yeah. God, not the floor in there.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Did you guys ever go to Govinda's in Sydney?
Govinda's?
Govinda's. No. It's a cinema that plays... I mean, it plays regular films too, but it mostly plays Hindi movies, Bollywood movies.
Oh, okay. All right. No,
you go in there, it's all you can eat Indian food, vegetarian, and then you sit on the floor and watch films.
Huh. All right. Oh, man, if you tried to take Indian food into a cinema here, they'd fucking shoot you.
Because you're not allowed to bring outside food in, or because they don't like Indians?
Because it's very potent.
Oh, I see.
I'm saying. Right, I told you the story of we were watching Annihilation at the movies, and I took a bag of, I don't know if you guys... Luke, I know,
was Annihilation
Luke, you know what
out
of
the movies in America?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I think that came straight to Netflix here.
We get... it was like that. Remember in Australia, it was like... We don't get any of these movies. Here, we get a lot of them. Like, we get... Well, not right now, obviously, and maybe we'll see what happens. But, yeah, it'd be like 20, 30 movies playing at a time. Right. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're watching that, and Luke, I know you know what these are because I stockpiled them the first time we came here together. You know the pretzels that I got?
Yes.
There's the buffalo ones, and then there's these jalapeno pretzels. It's like pretzel chunks. Like, do you know what these are, Dan? No?
I know what a pretzel is. Is it like a pretzel?
It's not like a normal pretzel. It's like, imagine, one of those big pretzels.
Like a sandwich
crunched
pretzel?
up into chunks. Yeah, but like, it's crispy and in little chunks. And then they dump a whole bunch of really strong flavored, in this case, jalapeno powder on them.
Right, okay.
They're delicious, but they are very smelly. And I just didn't think about it. So we're in the middle of the movie, I open the bag, and then all these heads just like turn because this smell is just like.
Did you just soldier on and eat them?
No, I put them away. Yeah, that's the other thing too. Not only that, I've already drawn attention to myself, and then I'm going to fucking crunch these things. No.
Man, I get embarrassed when I'm opening a packet of chips.
Yeah.
Just for the sound.
I wait for an action sequence.
Yeah.
I wish more people got embarrassed and upset by stuff like that. There are people who just do not care.
Oh, no one cares anymore about anything.
On the phone.
Yeah. I've been in cinemas before. You know how, like, when it's dark, you don't need your phone bright.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've had people in there who they turn up the settings to the brightest it can be, and I'm sort of like,
what is that, man? I don't
there are sometimes I go to see a movie here. Like, for example, Blade Runner 2049. I went and saw that 3 times, and every time I loved it, and I was like, man, going to the movies is great. Like, I really enjoyed that experience. But I think that's because no one else saw that movie, and I was there with, like, a handful of people. Because then I go and see, like, Avengers or whatever, and I'm like, these people suck.
Yeah, people are the worst.
Movie audiences are the worst subgroup of people in the world now.
Well,
I like if everyone's there having fun and laughing. Great, but it's the people who don't want to be there and
stop laughing, stop having fun, sit there quietly. I told you when I saw Justice League, there was a guy. I mean, this didn't matter so much because I was like, oh, at least it's entertaining now. But there's a guy yelling out one-liners, like in the opening credits,
like in George Costanza level.
Like the opening credits of Justice League. You guys seen it, right?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Very
much
long
of it,
time
honest,
ago.
Yeah.
There's the opening credit sequence, and it's got a very Zack Snyder-y kind of montage, except it's a little weird. Because it's a little weird because they've made it during the day instead. I'm not anyway. But there's this montage, and
Joss
there's a shot where there's
doing a Zack Snyder montage.
That's what, a little bit like that. But there's a homeless guy with a sign that says "I tried," and then this guy behind us yells out, "Not hard enough, buddy!" Like that kind of thing.
That wasn't a cameo by Zack Snyder, was it?
Oh God! You think he was like, I unfortunately, I'm going to have to step down as director. My daughter has committed suicide. And Joss was like, well, I've got something for you to do. This will be hilarious.
No, I think what happened was they called him in to... who produces these? Warner Brothers, right?
Yes.
He got called into Warner. President of Warner's there. And they're like, you're stepping down, man. We don't like what you're doing. Your other movies are losing money hand over fist. He's like, no way you're going to get me out of this. And they're like, well, we disagree. And then, taps the button on the desk, says to the secretary, kill the daughter. And then he's like, okay, I'll step down. But then he turns up on the day they filmed that scene with his little sign just to let us know that this was not his idea.
He tried. All right.
That's how movie studios work, man.
I still don't think it would have been a good movie.
No, definitely.
Even if his daughter had lived.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, she wasn't in the movie, so I don't see what I had to do
no,
with
well,
it.
They had to cut her out of it.
Yeah.
Like Brandon Lee.
She was actually playing Henry Cavill's mustache. You know what's funny? Did you just say Brandon Lee?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. For a second there, I thought maybe I'd made it up.
No.
When you watch The Crow now,
yes.
it is perfectly obvious which scenes Brandon Lee is not in.
Yeah. Not to me as a child.
No, neither. I thought it was an absolute triumph. In fact, I would have sworn they shot him on the last day of shooting.
Yeah, I guess we're more aware of how it works now.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, as an audience now, we're not as forgiving as we used to be.
Well, I mean, and they did it pretty well too, because now they would have just done a bunch of CGI. Basically, there's just entire scenes where you don't see the guy's face. And it's like, that's a bit weird.
Yeah. And now that we understand the craft a little bit, it's like, I mean, less so me, but I guess I've seen a lot of movies. I watch a lot of behind the scenes, and I've been on sets, so I kind of like, if I don't see the actor's face, I assume it's a stand-in now.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I just kind of tick that off in my head.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah. I gotta watch that movie again.
Yeah, holds up. Great movie.
Yeah,
and I'm thankful every time the remake falls through.
Yes. Well, they already did 4 sequels, right?
Yeah, and they were all awful, including the one that wasn't so bad. But a remake we do not need.
Yeah. I saw people are mad at Quentin Tarantino because of the Bruce Lee thing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And he I think this was recent. He did an interview at some event where he said, "No, I stand by it. Bruce Lee wasn't arrogant shit." Next question. I was like, you know what? I kind of like Quentin Tarantino. He doesn't give a fuck.
The whole premise of that film, it's called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood because it's a story. It's a made-up story. I mean, you don't see people getting the shits. Then, hold on. Fucking Brad Pitt didn't fucking murder the Manson family. Yeah, he didn't do that. And he didn't beat fucking Bruce Lee in a fight. It's just made up.
That's what he said. People say to him, that Brad Pitt's character could not have beaten Bruce Lee. And he said, I tell him, I fucking wrote the character. If I write that he can beat Bruce Lee, he can beat Bruce Lee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Like, that is great.
Great.
I've got to watch it again. I know that I wasn't sure if I liked it at first. I'm pretty sure I said that on the show. But I keep thinking about it.
Yeah, that's the sign of a good movie.
Yeah.
It's like a song on the radio. If you like a song straight away, chances are it's not a great song. And you'll get sick of hearing it. It's the ones that grow on you. And I watched this a second time and thought it was even better than the first time.
Okay. I will watch it again, I think.
I got to say, though, I've been to Los Angeles and I've driven in Los Angeles. I know you have too, Matt.
Yeah.
You don't tear around fucking corners, especially in the hills, without fucking stopping and looking both fucking ways.
Yes. Oh, you just run into the bumper of the 500 stopped cars in front of you.
Yeah. Speaking of movies and unrealistic stuff in movies, you guys seen Splash?
A very long time ago, yes.
I'm not sure I have. I think I've only read the Mad Magazine parody of Splash.
I bet that was great. What was it called? They usually have a funny play on words, but I don't know what you can do with Splash.
Splooge? I don't know.
I doubt it was Splooge.
Prove me wrong, Luke. Prove me wrong.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was Indiana Jones and his last crew days.
Oh, no. What are you doing, Mad Magazine? Oh, they went out of business. That's why.
Yes, they did. They did. They sure did.
I fucking loved Mad Magazine.
It was funny. Sure when they were going out of business, there were all these people going, it's sad they're going out of business. I used to read it a long time ago. They shouldn't go out of business. Well, maybe you kept buying it. They wouldn't.
Yeah, that's right.
I had you probably remember I had a collection of them, Dan. And I sold them.
Yeah.
So
sold them to Daryl Hannah. Look, I have seen Splash.
I would love
to
have done that.
Yes. Luke, do you remember the hardcore, offensive, and gratuitous nudity in Splash?
I must have missed it.
Yeah, I think we all did. And I even rewatched it this week just to remind myself what it used to look like. Not the whole movie, just the scene that we're about to describe.
I watched what you're about to describe, the new version of this, and it actually made me think, well, now I just want to see what Daryl Hannah's ass looks like.
Yeah. I mean, she's a beautiful woman.
I wouldn't even have thought of it before. But.
Yeah. Gay. So there's one scene in the film where Daryl Hannah, who is a mermaid but has legs, kisses...
Not a mermaid?
Not a mermaid, yeah, I suppose. Well, mer just means ocean. And maid means woman. So you can be a woman in the ocean and not have a fishtail, surely.
I couldn't, Dan. I couldn't. I've tried.
Hung out in the water for a fucking long time. Tom Hanks.
Into a prune.
Tom Hanks? Yeah, it's Tom Hanks, right? Yeah. Gives Tom Hanks a kiss, runs off into the water. She has extremely long hair, which covers her nudity entirely. And yet... Disney have decided now that it's on Disney Plus to take it from a low PG to a hard G by superimposing some kind of fur merkin over her butt.
And it doesn't look
It's
good.
Weird. It is so weird. You can't see anything in the original footage, and it's
not
titillating in any way.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of it now, and I was like, I mentioned before, I wouldn't, I
mean, you couldn't jerk off to this, put it that way.
No.
I still don't know what her ass looks like, to be honest.
Yeah.
I can just see the edges. So
but it's not like, I don't think they spent a lot of money or time trying to cover it. I think they gave it to an intern to do on his first day.
Certainly what it looks like.
Real bad.
But this has ruined the internet for perverts now, because now if you type in Daryl Hannah's ass into Google Images, you get this monstrosity.
Yeah. You think that's common? You think Daryl Hannah's still the number one Google search for people? Forget Pornhub, mate. Google Daryl Hannah.
Yeah. Remember Daryl Hannah? No, not really. Yeah, from the 80s. What was she in?
Blade Runner?
Blade Runner and Splash. I don't think I've seen Splash, but I have seen Blade Runner.
I've just found that the Mad Magazine parody I was referring to was called Splash Dance. And it was
huge.
Man, that was a different
Spoof.
magazine that I had when I was a child.
Yeah.
And it was a crossover parody. Flashdance and Splash Dance.
Sounds hilarious.
The Godfather, The Odd Father.
Oh.
Ooh.
Have you found Indiana Jones in his last crude days?
I didn't. I found Super Duper Man, which is very clever. And Try-Panic. The James Cameron film, Try-Panic.
Try-Panic. I remember these puns being a lot better.
We were also a lot younger.
Yeah.
Batman is Batsman. I guess he has bats.
I don't remember. I do remember that, though, that particular issue, because, when Batman, when he's in the Batwing and he takes the Joker's poisonous balloons and then just floats them over the ocean. In the Mad Magazine, he's on the comms with Alfred, and Alfred goes, won't they just float over another city? And he goes, yeah, but that's their problem.
That's very true. I remember the Edward Scissorhands one, and it had the sequence at the end where, where Edward fights the jock in the up in the top of the mansion.
Yeah, fights Anthony
and it was
Michael
a little...
Hall.
Huh. I got to rewatch that.
Who was always the nerd when he was a kid, and then always the jock when he was an adult.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
But the dialogue in that section of the comic was, "Come on, I'm going to hit you with this bat, man." And then Edward says, "Get away from me, you joker." And I was like, "Huh,
wow.
Tim Burton directed Batman. I get it."
Yeah. I bet you fucking loved that joke as a kid.
I did, because I got it.
Yeah,
it was like
exactly. That was, you were like, that's a joke to me, and people like me.
Yeah, Tim Burton fans.
Not a joke, but the thing that I used to fucking piss myself laughing at when I was a kid was in Batman Returns, which is not a good movie, so settle down.
Oh, come off it.
When he shoots at that guy with that hook, and he goes, "You missed," and then he pulls it and pulls a bit of a wall out behind him. In my head, so I saw that movie with. Do you guys remember Dick, Richard Forsyth? Yeah. So I saw that with him, and when you recall the lines from a movie afterwards, we would just always recall them quite wrong, and for some reason we had convinced ourselves that when that guy said "you missed," Batman said "bull crap," and then pulled it. And I was so disappointed years later when I revisited that film, only to find that Batman says not a goddamn thing. Doesn't use the phrase "bull crap" in that movie at all.
That's such a Penrith thing to say. Nobody says that.
No, such a 12-year-old Penrith thing too. You know what I mean?
Bull crap, mate.
You missed. Bull crap.
Oh, that's good. That is a great movie, though. Batman Returns.
Tis.
I'll not hear a bad word about it.
I haven't seen it in a very long time, so I can't comment.
It's got my favourite Danny Elfman score.
That's your favourite Danny Elfman score? Yeah, it is good. I'll give you that. It is very good.
100% my favourite Danny Elfman score. I know the movie is flawed, but the soundtrack is fantastic.
It is. I think my favourite would have to be... they're all the same, pretty much.
He's gotten more diverse as he's gotten older. But they're actually, and by that I mean less interesting. I love Danny Elfman.
More
he's
like
very
normal
talented.
movie scores where you're not meant to pay attention to them. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, and I understand why, but it's just a shame. Yeah.
Did you used to have the album Music for a Darkened Theatre?
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. I had to send away for that and wait like 8 weeks for it to come in.
I obtained it from the internet at some point.
I think I might prefer the Edward Scissorhands score.
Oh yeah,
just because of all those really poetic dancing in the snow.
Yes.
Type.
Well,
and stuff.
He mentions on his masterclass that music, the snow dance, is so iconic that he has that is the piece of music that he has the most like phone calls from his lawyer about, where he's like, we had another one.
Someone's ripping this off.
Yes. He said that. So, and then sometimes he'll be watching a TV commercial and he's like, did
I remember getting paid for that one?
Yeah, he's like, all right, that's, but yeah, iconic.
The Simpsons.
of course, yeah.
Once you realise that's him, you can't unhear it. That it's just every other Danny Elfman score, just played with different instruments. Yeah. Is there a musical term for that, Matt?
I'm sure there is.
He likes it. Whatever it is, he likes it.
He does.
I was listening to I was watching a film the other day that score was by Philip Glass. Now, Philip Glass has done some amazing film scores, but they're literally the same. This one was just, I can't even remember what film it was now, but I've got a couple of old soundtracks, from the CD era.
Yes.
And I'm just like, so I know them pretty well. You know what I mean? I know the tunes. And it's just verbatim. Like, it's just fucking ostinato after ostinato. It just doesn't change anything.
It works, though.
It does work, yeah.
Well, in his masterclass, Danny Elfman talks about how Tim Burton just liked Oingo Boingo, which fair enough, Oingo Boingo is fucking great. Yeah, and by the way, if you don't know who Danny Elfman is, then I guess can't help you. But if you do know who Danny Elfman is from films, check out Oingo Boingo, and you might be amazed that he was a rock star first. Like,
I mean, a weird redheaded rock star, sure.
Yeah, but he's a very good singer, and his band is fucking fantastic. Tim Burton just liked Oingo Boingo and said, "Hey, do you want to do the music for my film?" And he was like, "I don't know how to do that." and then Tim was like, "No, I think you do. I think you just need to do it."
And then turns out he's really good at it.
Was that Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
Yeah. And
that's a great score too.
Yes. Well, apparently Tim Burton showed him the bit at the with the Rube Goldberg machine at the start and all that, and he went home and wrote this music, and he was like, "This is ridiculous," and then sent him a tape with it on, and he was like, "Yep, you're hired."
That's great.
All right then.
If you do what Matt suggests and you go and listen to Oingo Boingo and you like them, you should also check out a very underappreciated film from the 80s called Back to School, which stars Rodney Dangerfield as the father of someone who starts college and moves into a dorm, and then he decides he also wants to go back to school and moves into the dorm too. But the son's a nerd, and Rodney Dangerfield is a party animal. It stars Robert Downey Jr. in a very early role as just the best friend of the son. But they go to a party, and Oingo Boingo are playing at the party, and Danny Elfman is in the film. I mean, the whole band's in the film.
Yeah.
Just playing some college gig. Yeah. You should watch it. I mean...
Do you know he composes... You know how everyone kind of has a go-to instrument? I mean, maybe that's not common knowledge, but I would estimate most musicians have a go-to instrument, right? Like mine would be guitar because I'm most familiar with it.
Yeah.
His is the xylophone.
Huh. I mean, it makes fucking sense.
Yeah, when he starts working on a film, he has a room. You could see footage of this in the masterclass. He's got a room full of fucking xylophones.
Wow.
And to learn to play, he pretended to be enrolled in a course at fucking Stanford and just showed up and then like learned how to play. He's never had formal music training.
What? Wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, Jesus. Mind blown.
Danielle for Masterclass. Fascinating.
Huh. That probably is fascinating. I think the Philip Glass Masterclass is probably just him sitting on the stool, slow track in, and then he goes, pick one note on the keyboard, count up 3, then count up 4, play those notes in any order over and over. There's your score for every movie. If you want to mix it up, start on a different note.
Yeah, just
count up
shift
3,
it down a bit.
then count up 4.
Composing.
Speaking of Stanford University,
yes,
there's somebody who studied at Stanford that I'd like to submit to Geek of the Week.
Oh,
and that's Mr. John Conway. And if you don't know who John Conway is, you might like this ironic piece of news that he was the inventor of the game of life, and he has died.
He lost.
Well, part of the game of life is dying.
Is it? I've actually never played it.
Haven't you, Danny?
I mean, I'm playing it right now,
you?
sure. Yeah, I mean, in a very meta way, I'm playing it, sure.
I remember playing the game of life as a kid and liking it because the board was interesting, but actually I think it's a bit shit.
I liked the ad because the board looked interesting. There's a twirly thing, you put little kids in a car.
Yeah,
but it's one of these things, like, there's no actual game. It doesn't matter who's playing, what you're doing, you just move your piece.
It's just random.
Yep.
You make a choice twice. You can choose not to go to college, right? Isn't that?
Yeah, you can choose not to go to college, and that's the only thing. So at the start of the game, you can take a risk and go ahead a little faster. Yeah, but you get less job choices. But you can still not go to college and still get doctor.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you not go to college, but say you went to Stanford and then just play the xylophone and become a successful musician?
Probably.
Yes, that is one of the cards.
So. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's up there. Just while we're on the topic...
Did he do anything else?
No, he didn't do anything else. He was a mathematician.
He's not impressed.
Not impressed. Matt, do we have any Rambo First Blood news tonight that might kind of tie in with Geek of the Week?
I forgot. Yeah, we do, don't we? The sheriff. Finally, karma caught up with him.
Fuck, did Sylvester Stallone kill him?
Maybe. Listeners, if you're confused at this point, that's because we failed to mention that Brian Dennehy also died this week and was up for Geek of the Week, and that's why we just suddenly started talking about him with no context. Okay, back to the show.
Imagine that, just before he died, he calls Sylvester and he's like, I'm going to die. Like, I'm very, very sick right now. Do you want to do it?
See,
do you want it to be
find it funny that your go-to for him as an actor is Rambo, but for me, it's the movie FX.
FX?
Which one's FX?
Pretty sure he was in it.
Fucking hate when Luke out-movies me.
Yeah, what the fuck?
It's a movie with
Brian Brown.
FX, 1986.
Brian Brown. And he's a special effects. He's a special effects guy, and he gets brought in to help fake someone's death. But then,
I want to watch this movie now.
This looks fucking great.
They're great movies. I only watched them like 2 weeks ago.
What do you mean them? There's a sequel?
Yeah, the sequel's not as good.
Oh my god, FX2!
Yep.
Holy shit.
All right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna watch this.
Back in the days, remember, before they had to have different names for sequels, you just have, like, that, and then you have Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah, just a number, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the first Star Wars film had come out in the 80s, I'm pretty sure The Empire Strikes Back would have been called Star Wars 2.
Well, they were calling it that for a while, right? Like, and then... I think it was called Star Wars 2 in production. Or pre-production.
Oh, right. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Well, if you look at IMDb, things are called Untitled Avengers Movie 2021.
Yeah. Well, I think we've talked about this before. I remember, and we've definitely talked about Batman Returns already, but I remember when they said Batman 2 was called Batman Returns, and I was like, huh.
Yeah,
weird.
Same. I remember where I was when I heard that. It was a really important moment in my life.
Oh. Not going to elaborate.
No, just that Batman was, like, far and away my favourite movie. Like,
sure.
And
absolutely,
when I heard that, and it was kind of every other movie that I'd gotten into that had sequels, they already existed. So I was, like when I watched Star Wars, it was 1984. There were already the sequels,
Yeah.
And
totally.
when I watched Indiana Jones around roughly in the same time, there was already a sequel. Whereas I watched Batman, there was no sequel, and then suddenly there was.
Yeah, they were making it.
Yeah.
So, did either of these gentlemen die of coronavirus?
I believe that at least one of them did.
That's stupid. That's a shame. Well, I mean, not that it's not a shame that they died of something else.
Brian, so it must have been the other one.
Brian. We're calling him Brian now.
Yep.
I like to think that this FX movie billed it as The Two Bryans.
Do you know what I watched on my birthday? Because I do. I do it on my birthday. Is I watched Hackers again.
That's your birthday tradition. Like jerking off to Angelina Jolie before she got her boob job.
That's not how I describe it. But when I was 18, I turned 18. I had a party and I made everybody watch Hackers, and so I'm making it a thing.
Nice.
And I wanted to watch it. So anyway, but Fisher Stevens is in it, obviously, as Eugene Belford, Mr.
Obviously.
Plague. Mm-hmm. And that made me want to watch Short Circuit. 1 and 2, which another film that
disassemble Stephanie,
that got a sequel.
Nice software.
While I was aware of it, like I saw Short Circuit 2 at the movies as a child, and I was excited about it. That might have been before Batman.
Huh?
When did Short Circuit 2 come out?
Yeah, man. Sequels when we were kids were. I remember when the third Child's Play came out. I was dead set excited.
1988, so yes, it was before Batman. Not great reviews. Short Circuit 2.
No.
I don't have... Well, I think all the lines we remember from any Short Circuit movie are from the first one, let's be honest.
Number 5 is Alive.
Speaking of obscure things from the 80s, I'm rewatching Community at the moment. Fuck, that's a great show.
Oh, it is.
Oh,
the
man.
Last couple of seasons.
The writing on this show is just amazing. But there was a Yahoo Serious joke.
Right.
And I had no idea Americans even knew who Yahoo Serious was.
I think for a short period they did, and then they promptly forgot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mr. Accident, I think, was supposed to be his big... No, not Mr. Accident? It was his big... The one where he's in LA. I think that was supposed to be his big breakthrough thing. But
unfortunately, I do think I have seen that, yeah.
No, not Mr. Accident.
One.
Oh,
Reckless
no, wait,
Kelly.
I'm thinking of... Reckless Kelly. Oh, that's the one I've seen. Yeah.
With Hugh... No.
I don't remember a goddamn thing about it.
No.
It's got fucking Elrond. Agent Smith.
Oh,
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving is the bad guy in it.
Huh.
In Reckless Kelly. Anyway.
Is that entirely Australian, that movie? I mean, it certainly sounds like it is.
It's mostly shot in Sydney, I believe, but it is filmed in Los Angeles. Like, he goes to Los Angeles.
He goes to LA, yeah. Yeah, don't have a lot of memories of that, too. Remember Young Einstein pretty well, though.
Yes. So I saw that at the movies. I think on a school excursion, I think.
Yes. Did you have to save the labels on your Coddy's Cordial for your ticket?
Possibly.
Oh, yeah. I remember that being a thing now.
Coddy's Cordial had a label on it, and if you kept that label, if everyone in your class had it, your whole class got to go and see Young Einstein.
Huh. Does Coddy's Cordial still exist?
I don't know.
I will go and find out.
I was going to say, you're the only one in the country. You've got to find out for us, Luke.
I will give an update next week.
Very good.
So
hopefully they've got lime.
Are you going to give Cooler? It's the green one's called
Cooler. Yeah.
Cooler.
For some reason.
I prefer GI Lime.
Oh,
I prefer G.I. Joe.
Just Sugar. I prefer Joe versus the Volcano.
I prefer Dante's Peak.
Yeah, I prefer Dante's Seventh Level of Hell.
Speaking of
Are you going to give Brian Dennehy Geek of the Week?
I wanted to talk about a documentary, but I do need to know this first. Yeah, who gets Geek of the Week, if anybody?
Brian Dennehy.
Okay,
all right.
Only because of his work in FX.
So, John
Only because
Conway...
of FX.
John Conway, fuck off.
No, you've
Brian
wasted
Dennehy.
your life. And Brian Dennehy...
You've wasted your game of life.
You lose. Brian, if all you'd ever done was Rambo First Blood, then you would not be being mentioned here. Because Luke...
Yeah.
Did not like your
Luckily, you
performance
did 2 films that only Luke has seen.
Yeah, that's right. Very particular rules for getting Geek of the Week that I make up each death.
I watched a documentary this week that I wanted to briefly mention. It's called Hail Satan, with a question mark at the end. And it's about...
I saw the phrase "Hail Satan" in here, and I wasn't going to ask.
Work out what it was for.
I wasn't going to ask.
Well, it's follow-up, which is why I want to mention it, because we've talked in the past about the statue of Baphomet that the Satanic Temple wanted to put up in...
We have.
Where did they put that up? Was it Ohio somewhere? Well, they wanted to. And this is a documentary about that, but about about Satanism in general, and modern Satanism, and like what it is and why and all that kind of...
It's not meant to be bad,
Well, it's just... It depends on who you talk to. I think it addresses some of my problems with it, which are that you attract crazy people who just want to be Satanists, but...
bathe in blood.
Yeah, but a lot of the organizations that call them, like, say the Satanic Temple, they don't believe in Satan. They don't believe they're atheists. It's just a way to...
It's a contrarian religion to question the established Christianity,
the reason it started was because in America in particular... Christianity has a favoritism. It's like you get special treatment, basically, over all other religions. And other religions weren't having much luck changing that. And so what these guys wanted to do was say, okay, you want to put a statue of the 10 Commandments up. We don't think that's right, because that's basically saying Christianity is better. This is the fucking courthouse, right? And Christianity is the boss. Like they don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And so the only way to get them to not do it is to say, fine, you want to do that, we're going to put a statue of Satan up as well. And then the Christians will rather just not have a statue at all than allow both.
Yeah.
So,
and I can sort of see, because I know in Australia, most of our holidays are all around the Christianity.
Yeah. Well, and it also mentions, too, it's quite interesting that apparently a lot of the stuff that Americans associate with, America being a Christian nation, was all brought in the 50s during the, to fight communism, because they said that the communists are atheist and they're godless and they're going to come and kill us. We're a Christian nation, and then they added all the under God to the Pledge of Allegiance and all that kind of stuff. It all happened in the 50s.
That is interesting.
And people just don't know that. I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either. I actually didn't realize that communists were atheists. I mean, maybe they're all not, but that the Soviet Union was completely atheist. I have a friend over here who's Russian, and we're talking about Christmas, and they celebrate Christmas, but it's not called Christmas, and they don't have Santa Claus. They have Winter Present Man or something.
Yes, it's very literal.
Yeah. I'll put it to you though, Matt.
Man.
Yeah, that's right. The director of Hail Satan is named Penny Lane, and I put it to you that's a fake name.
It probably is, yeah. I do like the guy who is, what is his name? Lucian Graves is the head of the Satanic Temple, and at one point in the documentary, some Republican senator or something says it's not even his real name. His real name is something something, and then it cuts to Lucian, and he goes, "Well, that's not my real name either. My pseudonyms run many levels deep for obvious reasons." That's quite funny.
That's great. Just jumping back to FX for a sec. The producer of FX, Dodi Fayed, the guy who died in the car with Princess Diana.
Wow.
That is interesting.
It all comes together now.
Brian Dennehy and Princess Diana. You heard it here first. They're linked. indelibly linked. Anyway, I recommend checking out Hail Satan. It's interesting. It's probably not what you think. And in fact, they point out, like I said, some of the issues I have. There's like a chapter of the Satanic Temple that goes a bit nutso and starts having basically religious ceremonies. And the head of it's like, no, you missed the point.
This is not what we're for. Yeah. That always happens, though. I mean,
that's one of the reasons I don't like that stuff is because I feel like it encourages the silliness.
Yeah, craziness. I first met Satanists when I was a teenager, and they were really nice people that explained to me that Satanism isn't about worshipping Satan; it's just about loving and all of this stuff like that. And I was like, well, then why do you need Satan? Like, why do you need to have this contrarian?
Yeah, well, I thought the same thing, but this documentary kind of did make me think, okay, it is a useful tool, I think, if you're that serious about it. But I still think if you're just sitting around with your friends and you're like, let's be Satanists, then that's just dumb.
Yeah. Yeah. Just doing the Texas Longhorns at each other.
Yeah.
Look, the same thing happened with Pastafarianism. You guys know about that?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Like, it was not supposed to be a movement. It was that somebody was trying to get their kid out of learning scripture in school, and so he made up a religion that he called Pastafarianism and said, my daughter's Pastafarian. We worship a big spaghetti monster, so she can't do your Jesus thing. And, they told him he couldn't do it, and then it became this whole thing, and then he stuck by it because he was like, no, fuck you. If you get to learn about your imaginary friend, I get my daughter to learn about her imaginary friend. But now people are trying to like legitimately start an organized religion about it, and it's like, no, that's the point, is to not do that.
And because again, there's an example where there's a guy who did it because they, like if you're getting an ID photo, particularly in the US, I think actually this might have been in Australia. If you're going to get a photo for your driver's license
for his hat.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to wear any kind of covering. Your face has got to be perfectly visible unless it's a religious piece of clothing. And so you have certain religions have clothing that obscures their face, and people were like, that defeats the purpose of it. And so this guy, as kind of a protest, said, well, I'm Pastafarian, so I have to wear a colander on my head for my driver's license photo. And he won. So his driver's license photo, he's wearing a colander on his head.
See? One guy does that. It's a protest. He wins. Good for him.
Well, no, really, because
anyone else is doing
achieve what he wanted. They just said, "Okay, you can do it too," which is not the point. It's supposed the point. He was trying to get it so that
he was
no
trying
one
to get it so
that
burkas came off for the photos.
Yes, basically, yeah. And so it didn't work. Anyway,
here in Singapore, Luke, you mentioned public holidays. We get 2 public holidays for each religion's special days. So we get 1 day off at Christmas, 1 day off at Easter, 1 day off at Eid Mubarak, and 1 day off at Hari Raya for the Muslims, and we get 1 day off at...
That's fascinating.
I'm being tested now. 1 day off at...
Do you get made a 4th off?
We don't get made a 4th off, no.
Do you get...
Damn, because that's coming up soon.
International Gnocchi Day off for Pastafarianism? I'm going to have gnocchi for dinner tonight. I've just decided.
Yeah.
Do you get this Thursday off?
What's this Thursday?
Very important day.
Oh, it is an important day.
Oh, sure.
It's my birthday.
39. Bit late.
Yeah, what are you talking about, mate? Call me when you hit the big 4-0.
All right.
I'll call you in 2 months, Matt. Yeah, I'll give you a call.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we talk every week, but give me a call anyway.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, don't forget, for that one, we will all be together.
You fucking call me.
We will be together. We'll be together in the happiest place on earth, provided the happiest place on earth doesn't go out of business.
Open.
Which it won't, because they own everything.
Yeah.
That's all for this week. Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed the show. If you enjoyed it, then please subscribe in iTunes to receive episodes automatically. We'll see you next time.